Ladies and gentlemen, today's topic is something that we all crave. Deeply crave, desperately crave. I mean really, really, really crave. And that is how to attract good things into our lives. There's no one in this world who would ever say, I don't want good things to come into my life. Of course we want them. We just don't know how to make that happen. So today we're going to talk about that how. And I like to call this the formula of smart people. That's the name I give to the secret I want to share with you today. Now, why do I call it the secret of smart people? Let me explain where this name comes from. If you pay attention, you'll notice something around you, whether it's your friends, your coworkers, your boss, or maybe even people in higher positions that you've had the chance to meet. Among all those people, there's always a small group, not non-existent, but definitely small, who share a very interesting trait. Their rational mind works incredibly well. They're just plain smart. They know what's worth doing and what's not. When they face a decision, they know whether to step in or step away. And when they finally make a choice, they somehow just know which one is right and which one is wrong. Now, if you met these people 10 years ago and you looked at their success back then, you might have thought, that guy just got lucky. That's pure luck. But guess what? 10 years later, not only did they not fail, they actually became even more successful than before. That kind of success is what I call sustainable. And that's when you realize, okay, this person has real capability. Their mind, their intelligence, their reasoning, it's on another level. They must have some kind of secret way of living, a secret formula for being smart, right? If we're lucky, we might meet a few people like that in our lifetime. And yes, they do have that secret. The only question is whether or not they choose to share it with us. But the secret exists. The method exists. And of course, that greedy little part of us starts kicking in, right? We want to learn from them. We want to know how they think. And honestly, I'm the same way. So what did I do? I started investigating. I paid attention. I asked questions. I observed. I basically ran my own little research project over several years, and I found the answer. And yes, I'm proud of that. Now, before I shared it with anyone else, I tested it on myself first. Because I needed to experience it, to live with it for a while, to see if it actually worked. I had to know whether my life improved, whether things started moving upward. Only then could I share it with others. Because if I just discovered something, never practiced it, never got results from it, and then shared it right away, what if it turned out to be wrong? That would be irresponsible, right? So let me reassure you, this method, this so-called secret of smart people, is something I've lived through myself. I understand it deeply from both its bright side and its dark side. And honestly, the bright side, the right side, far outweighs the dark one. So what exactly is it? Here's what I want you to notice. This method can look different from person to person. It's flexible and adaptable on the surface. But at its core, it's always the same. Every truly smart person, whether they do it consciously or unconsciously, whether it's deliberate or just instinctive, they all share one common habit. Before making any decision, they always ask themselves one simple question. Is this worth my time and attention? In every situation, every problem, every offer, every opportunity, every job, their mind automatically or deliberately runs that question. Is this worth my time and attention? Let me give you a clear example. Imagine you invite a smart, successful person to join a business project with you. The moment you say, hey, I'd like to invite you to collaborate on this project, their first reaction, their natural instinct, will be to think, is this project worth my time and attention? In other words, is this good? They ask that question first. Then they start calculating, adding, subtracting, analyzing, figuring out what they'll gain and what they might lose. They think it through very quickly, and then they conclude, if it's good, I'll do it. If not, I'll pass. Now, what does that tell us? It means that they've learned how to filter out the things that aren't good for them. They've learned to only allow into their life what they believe is good. And when you think about the title of today's episode, a single question that can change your life, you realize how logical it all is. In every situation, with every person, every issue, every opportunity, you have to ask yourself one question. Whether you do it consciously or not, whether you notice it or not, your mind needs to be trained to ask this. Is this worth my time and effort? Is this worth my attention? If it's worth it, go for it. If it's not, let it go. That's it. As simple as that. Now, of course, I have to say, a lot of people use this method almost instinctively as part of their natural habits. So yes, mistakes still happen. They might still make the wrong call sometimes, even while asking themselves this question. That's why I believe at Washington, if we can turn this into a systematic method, a conscious way of thinking, then your life will grow in an incredible way. Truly. You'll be able to rationally, deliberately, and completely apply what we call the formula of smart people, and you'll start attracting only good things into your life. Now let's move on to the next example. That's something practical, something that'll help you see how this smart people formula actually works in real life. So, let's say there's a guy named John. John earns $2,000 a month. Life's pretty tough for him, and he's promised himself, I've got to learn more. I've got to grow. I want to change my life. And among all the ways to improve himself, he chooses one. He wants to read books to develop his mind. So he walks into a bookstore. Right at the entrance, 3 books catch his eye. 3 completely different topics. The first one, a book about learning chess. Now, this is something he absolutely loves. He's crazy about chess. And somehow, whether it's coincidence or fate, the very first book that pops into view is How to Play Chess. It feels meant to be. He really wants to buy it. But then he glances at the book next to it. It's about healing, emotional healing. Lately, he's been seeing a lot of content about healing online, and it's been on his mind. He's curious. He really wants to read about it too. He almost grabs it. But wait, there's still a third book. The third book is about career development. It teaches sales skills, communication skills, all bundled in one. Now, the total cost of all 3 books together is under $50. Not a huge amount, but for John, it's still a noticeable chunk of his salary. More importantly, he doesn't have much time. He simply doesn't have enough hours in his day to read all 3. He can only pick one. So now, if you had the chance to help John, what would you tell him? How could he grow the fastest, given his situation? It's easy. Just teach him the formula of smart people from today's episode. Show him how to ask one simple foundational question. Is this worth my time and attention? Which one is the most worth it right now? Is it the chess book? Is it worth his time? Sure. Worth his attention? Sure. But is it urgent or important right now? Probably not, because if we look at his life, he's making $2,000 a month and struggling to get by. He simply can't afford to spread his attention so widely, not at this point. He can't spend precious energy on a hobby when his basic needs aren't met. We have to be honest about that. So, the first book, skip it. Next, the healing book. Does he have emotional wounds from the past? Probably yes. So is it wrong to buy that one? Not at all. But right now, there's a much more immediate wound in his life. One that's happening in real time, not in the past. It's the wound of financial struggle. And for that wound, emotional healing alone won't be enough. So skip that one too. Which leaves the third book, the one about developing career skills. That's the one worth his time and attention the most. That's the one he should dive into with everything he's got, to sharpen his hard skills, soft skills, attitude, and professional value, so that his employer sees his growth, recognizes his capability, and gives him a raise or a promotion. That's what he needs to focus on. So, with limited time and limited money, he should absolutely buy the third book. Because it fits perfectly with where he is in life right now. No debate needed, right? Now, imagine another person. Let's say a woman named Sophia. Sophia already has a stable job. Her income is fine, maybe even more than enough. Money isn't a problem for her, but she's stressed out, completely overwhelmed. She's so caught up in work that she doesn't even know what to do with herself when she's not working. Her mind just goes, if I'm not working, I don't know who I am anymore. So now, let's say this woman, Sophia, walks into a bookstore and sees those same 3 books. Which one should she read? In her case, the second book about healing might actually be the one she needs the most. It fits her situation, right? But let's take another example. A third person, someone whose income is stable and who's genuinely happy, spends time at a chess club every week. They love it. It brings them joy. The only problem is they're not very good at it. So when this person walks into the same bookstore and sees those 3 books, which one should they buy? The chess book, of course. It's that simple. Each person just has to ask themselves one key question. Is this worth my time, effort, and attention? If it is, do it. If it's not, don't. And that right there is an amazing filter, because it only allows the good things to enter your life. It doesn't invite things that aren't right for you, or that aren't right yet, and it definitely doesn't invite nonsense. Now, another example, and I've got plenty. Let's say you're an office worker and you don't really know anything about investing. Then one day, someone comes up to you and says, hey, invest with me. Just put in $10,000 and in 2 or 5 months, you'll get back $100,000. Now it's time to activate your smart people mode and start asking questions. Is this worth my time, effort, and attention? Do I even understand what this is about? If you're putting your time and effort into something you don't understand at all, that already sounds like a bad idea, right? Is there risk involved? Absolutely. Is it a high risk? Very high, because the things we don't understand are always the riskiest things of all. And just with that basic analysis, no matter how many promises they make, your answer should be simple and firm. No, 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 not joining. Sorry, quick, clean, no drama. That's how it should be. No long debates. Because what we really want is to welcome good things into our lives and to reject the ones that bring harm. Investing money just because someone, like even a close friend or family member, tells you to, is never a good idea if you don't understand it. Because when things go wrong, and they can, you won't just lose money. You'll also feel frustrated, hurt, maybe even resentful toward the person who invited you in. And look, losing money in an investment is normal. It happens. But when you lose both money and a relationship, that's just foolish. So it's better to stick with a clear, simple no, 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 and move on. You might not become rich this time, but at least you won't lose any friendships. Your life stays peaceful, stable, and free from unnecessary drama. And honestly, that's already a win. Or here's another example. Maybe you're part of a club. Badminton, tennis, table tennis, volleyball, chess, dancing, whatever it is. And there's this one person in that group who's just toxic. They always blame others. They pick fights. They're selfish. They put themselves above everyone else and tear people down. And every time you talk to them, you feel drained. Because they talk endlessly and never listen. Now, this is where you have to be brave enough to ask yourself, should I be spending my time and attention on this person? Then do a quick mental calculation. Run the numbers in your head. Ask yourself, should I keep hanging around this person? If it's at work, that's different. You might have no choice. You're there for income, not friendship. You can try changing desks, departments, or teams. But if that's not possible, fine. You deal with it because the goal there is financial stability. But we're not talking about work here. We're talking about your personal life. And in your personal life, you have every right to set boundaries. Because remember, we only want to invite good things into our lives, not negativity. So if you realize that every time you spend time with this person, you end up frustrated or upset, just stop. Change the day you show up. If you used to go to that club from Monday to Friday, maybe switch to Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday. Or join the Sunday session instead. If they usually come at 6 p.m., go at 8 p.m., or simply move to another group, another club, another community altogether. Start fresh somewhere else. If you play soccer and there's someone in your current team who's just unbearable, switch to another team. Why? because you only want to invite into your life people who are kind, uplifting, and positive. You don't want to waste your energy on people who drain it. And you know this. You can never truly change someone's personality. I know a lot of people who still believe they can, which is why I have to say this clearly. Some people will say, well, that person's just mean. Maybe I should help them change. Maybe I can fix them. All right, let's say this straight. I dare you to try changing someone. Who here can actually do it? Show me how. What are you going to do? Call them over and say, hey, come here. I just want to talk a bit. You see, A, B, and C, those things about you are not so good. You should change. And then the other person goes, oh, wow, thank you so much. You've helped me become a better person. I'm so grateful for your wisdom. If that ever happens, please record it and air it on Fairy Tales Weekly. Because honestly, you and I both know that people are incredibly hard to change. You sit there, talk to them for an hour, and hope that somehow you'll change who they are? Come on. 1 hour of talking is nothing compared to the decades that shaped that person, from their childhood up until now. Dream on. There's no way your 1 hour conversation can break down a habit, a way of living, a personality, a lifestyle that's been built up for 30, 40, 50 years. So trying to change someone? That's almost impossible, unless they already want to change. The best thing to do is to walk away. You have to avoid and filter out the things that aren't good for your life. Because your energy is limited, your health is limited, your attention is limited, your time is limited. You're not immortal, right? That's life. More friends, fewer enemies, more joy, less sadness, more happiness, less misery. Invite in the good things and actively block the bad ones. If bad things just fall from the sky, okay, that's fate. We deal with it. But if we can control something, if we can choose, if we can build our lives better, then why on earth would we choose to cry when we could laugh? Right? Why be sad when we can be happy? Why be negative when we can be positive? And all of that starts with one simple question. This thing, this person, this job, is it really worth my time and attention? If not, then let it go. Same thing with gaming, my friends. Just one small act of awareness. Before you open that game, ask yourself, is this really worth my time right now? Then you'll naturally start to think, what could I be doing instead to improve my life right now? And that's how you'll stop yourself from lying in bed at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. playing games horizontally on your phone. Because honestly, how can your life go upward that way? It won't. You lose. Unless you're a streamer or a professional gamer, okay, that's your job. Play on. But if you're an average person and you're playing games in bed in the morning, your life's basically sounding a red alarm. I'm not kidding. All right, I think that's enough for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, the secret of smart people: always be proactive and positive, and consciously invite only the good things into your life. Keep going, my friends. You've got this.